Within the last 40 minutes, the House passed a bill to reopen the government. President Trump is expected to sign the bill into law by the end of the night. It funds the government until the end of January, funds SNAP through September, reverses shutdown firings, and guarantees back pay for furloughed workers. But it does not address what Democrats were pushing for, an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies. Senate Republicans promised a future vote on this, but the House has not committed. Once President Trump signs the bill, it will still take time for the government to get fully back up and running. And joining us now to talk about the vote and the political fallout from the shutdown is UC San Diego political science professor Thad Kauser. Thank you, Thad, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Who wins today other than the American people? But when you look at the parties, what happened today and who won?
Well, in the short term, President Trump and Republican allies in Congress clearly won. Democrats, what they were asking for in the shutdown was an extension of the government subsidies that help make health care more affordable for about 22 million Americans. Republicans opposed that. They held out, and they were able to win. Eventually, 8 Democratic moderates in the Senate blinked, and with the longest shutdown in history of the United States now in the books, Democrats have no policy wins in the short term to show for it. But the long term could be different.
And you point out the Democrats are seen as backing off their demands on health care with this. It's a week and a day after the election. There's talk about timing of all this. What are your thoughts on how it played out politically?
Well, I think clearly the shutdown really changed what the political discussion was about in this nation, and that was part of the long-term strategy of Democrats. And we're going to see whether that pays off in the 2026 midterms, whether that pays off for Democrats eventually being able to get a policy movement on health care and get a policy that they say will help address the affordability crisis and make health care more affordable. The way that works is that the fight was about healthcare, with Republicans opposing these things to make healthcare more affordable and Democrats supporting them. It was also became, due to President Trump's movement to suspend SNAP benefits and to fight various courts who told him to restore them, it became then a fight with Donald Trump opposing nutritional aid for more than 40 million Americans and Democrats supporting it. These are winning issues for Democrats in the long term. Right? They move away from a conversation about immigration and DEI, where Donald Trump is often has a lot of public support, to fights where the Republican positions are less popular. Democrats hope this helps them win the midterms and helps them eventually restore these nutritional benefits and these health care benefits that their party is sort of supporting at its core.
And the vote really has only bought us time. What are you thinking as we look forward? How likely is it that we'll face another standoff in weeks or months?
Right. We could be on January 30th returning to this same discussion. Now, some parts of government had 1-year funding extensions, and so not every part of government will be subject to a shutdown. But unless Congress acts again at the end of January, there could be another shutdown. I think it's less likely because the political lesson here is that shutdown did not work for Democrats in the short term. That it split the party. It moved from last week's story of success for Democrats to this week's story of recriminations and almost a civil war within the party. So I don't think there's a lot of political appetite to do a shutdown again. But I think this question of the Affordable Care Act subsidies and health care affordability is now elevated in American politics. It'll be even more elevated when people start seeing these bills that are going to be twice as large for their health care for 22 million Americans next year. And that means that Democrats will have a stronger political hand as they push for some relief on those health care costs in the next fight over an appropriations bill in January.
So much to watch here. UC San Diego political science professor Thad Kauser. Very interesting, and we hope you'll stay with us as we track this going forward into January.
Thanks very much. I'm happy to be back.
Thank you.